Chapter 8. The Office Bar. The email arrived at dusk as they were waking. Karen Chartree did not waste time on pleasantries. They were to meet her in the sanctuary immediately. She was already there when they arrived. "We have a problem. Within the past 48 hours, 2 humans have been found dead. Bodies completely drained, obvious bite marks. Detective Holloway has helped us manage the situation. The incidents are covered for now." She paused. "I am sending the 3 of you to bait the killers, bring them back alive or dead. I don't particularly care which. What I do care about is the masquerade." Her eyes moved to Angel. "Stay in the shadows." Then to Catherine and Susie. "Pass as human, flush your skin, breathe, do whatever you need to do." She gathered her things. "Detective Holloway will answer your questions. I have a meeting." She left and the detective approached. Holloway looked exactly like what he was: average height, average build, average everything, with the stillness of someone who had learned to observe without reacting. Both victims were in their 30s, no apparent link between them, other than they liked dive bars. One was married, lived in Cuernavaca. The other was a transient, alcoholic, minor run-ins with the law. He paced slowly. The transient was found behind a dive bar on Old Middlefield. The married woman was found in her own car at the Hilton Garden Inn, placed there after her death. Aventura wiped the security guard. I wiped the footage. Catherine silently wondered if she had left Derek in worse shape than she had intended. "We're assuming kindred kills. The suspects won't go back to Fred's. There are 3 dive bars worth your attention: Mervin's Lounge off Castro, Bert's Alibi on El Camino near Mountain View Avenue, and the Office Bar off El Camino near Sylvan. All 3 have alleys behind them." He set 3 cheap phones on the table. "Go in separately, pass as human, let them come to you. My number is there under Holloway. Call me if you need help with hostages or bodies." They chose the Office Bar. It had the least foot traffic, which was the only criterion that mattered. Angel took the sewers. Catherine and Susie walked together and came in separately. The Office Bar was a place people went when they didn't want to be found. Lighting that was either atmospheric or the result of several blown bulbs, and a clientele that had collectively decided not to ask questions. Angel materialized from the shadows with a forgettable face and found a back wall. Catherine took a bar stool and ordered a rum and coke. Susie sat at a table. Of the 3 of them, Susie looked the most approachable. This was not entirely an accident. The drunk found her within 15 minutes, enthusiastically intoxicated, operating on the assumption that his attention was welcome. "Get lost," Susie said pleasantly. He blinked. He got lost. A woman slid into the vacated seat almost immediately. Young, pretty, with a noticeable baby bump. She glanced after the drunk and shook her head. "Some people," she said. "I'm Claire." "Susie." Claire looked toward the small stage where a man in a cowboy hat was finishing a tuneless rendition of something country. "You should do karaoke. You look like someone who can sing." Susie, who had never needed much encouragement in the direction of a stage, found herself at the microphone with a laminated song list. She chose "I Left My Heart in San Francisco." What followed was difficult to explain in purely musical terms. Susie could carry a tune, but competence alone doesn't stop a room. Conversations paused mid-sentence. A man at the bar set down his beer and simply listened. Susie felt it, the warmth spreading outward from her, the room opening up. She had felt it before in fragments and recognized it as a gift of the blood. She finished to genuine applause. The man at the bar picked up his beer again, looking faintly confused about why he had put it down. Claire was beaming. I knew it! She turned to the man who had appeared quietly beside her. Jack, this is Susie. Jack was pleasant looking and calm in a way Susie found faintly unusual. She reached to shake his hand and noticed it. They didn't smell right. Not bad, not threatening exactly, just odd, something she had no category for. Across the bar, Catherine watched Susie's table out of the corner of her eye. You have to come see our puppy, Claire said. He's in the car. Come with us. Susie stood and followed them toward the back door. The alley smelled of damp concrete and garbage. Claire kept talking about the puppy as she led them toward the parking lot. We park back here, Jack explained pleasantly. Don't want the cops running our plates. Reasonable, Susie thought. Completely reasonable. Catherine came through the back door and moved to close the distance. She focused on Jack and commanded him to stop. He stopped, and then didn't, shaking it off like someone who'd walked into a glass door. Catherine moved toward him. Claire had Susie by the arm before Susie could react. Susie wrenched free, surprised by what her body could do, and stepped back. Angel's boot connected with Claire's midsection. Claire looked down at where she'd been kicked, then up at the space where Angel was, entirely unmoved. Angel grappled her to the ground. She struggled hard, but his grip held. Jack broke into a run. Catherine caught him by the collar, commanded him to sleep, and this time it took. He folded, and she lowered him to the ground, using his own shirt to bind his wrists. Susie removed Angel's belt with one hand, a maneuver requiring a brief moment of awkward collaboration, and used it to secure Claire's wrists. Claire glared and said nothing. Angel stood up, holding Claire with one hand and his pants with the other. Holloway arrived in 11 minutes in an unmarked van, handcuffed them both with the efficiency of a man who'd expected to do this many times more, then loaded them in. I'll be honest, he said, looking at the three of them. I didn't think you'd get them alive. Chartrey is going to be pleased. The van turned on El Camino and was gone. Angel retrieved his belt from the ground and put it back on without comment. It had been a productive evening.